You are watching Liberty Online TV.
This is Liberty Online TV powered by Orange Sierra Leone. Orange.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome back to another week. And as I go say, welcome to the Liberty Breakfast Show, where they come to you live from Liberty Online TV. Now with Facebook, YouTube, and also with website. We will bring the program come to you this morning. My name is Khadija Bangura.
And my name is Kaba. Good morning. Today is Monday, February 5th, and inside this edition of the Breakfast Show, we will continue to look at the University of Sierra Leone leadership saga. Also, we see the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education don't dissolve the university courts and say they don't send some members them at the university when as senior members them on leave.
All right, inside last week, we begin for looking inside this issue. We've been just begin na the University of Salone, Osai, the Vice Chancellor and Principal for the University of Salone. Two people in there this capacity now. One where the Ministry of Tertiary and Higher Education be appoint, and one where the University Court be appoint. Inside last week, we'll be looking inside this issue proper one, and self we get the ASA member from Commerce when they self been pulled a 6-point resolution where one panel say they support the decision of the University Court as according to them they don't uphold the rule of law, and then at them the University Act give the power for appoint a vice chancellor and principal for the university. Well, immediately after that, we see also an urgent decision from the Ministry of Tertiary and Higher Education. Also, they don't dissolve the university court and then send senior member then at the university for go on immediate leave. Well, waiting at the latest development to the happen now, waiting the law say for sake of all the issues that may happen at the University of Salone. You go know this morning. They will twin at the program, share the program so that more people will be part of the conversation this morning for no proper but the leadership struggle within now at the University of Salone. Send we your message at the comment section of any of the platform the way you watch we, or send them through 074 200 545. We'll continue with the breakfast show this morning.
Alright, so we go first na courts. Usai the number 11 witness inside the courts martial meeting trial where they carry on na High Court number 1. when Ibrahim Sidious Dean, when guard na the 5th Battalion na Wilberforce Barracks, don't talk before Judge Advocate Magegba say na in aid them they put the box of ammunition them where them they pull the term where the November 26 attempted coup be happen. We reporter we Naramatu Kamara gets more on this and he gonna reports.
Friday, February 2nd this year, now the first time for make the court-martial mutiny trial, where they go on now, go live, outside the court being grief for make people self-watch the trial live on national television and other media outlets them. And the courtroom is flocked with lawyers, journalists, soldier man and plenty other people them, where go watch the trial. Inside this trial, the number 11 witness, when Ibrahim Sidious Dean, when guard na the 5 Battalion Wilberforce Barracks, appear before the Judge Advocate Magegba na High Court number 1. During his statement, in talk say November 26 around 12 a.m., the guard commander go wake and for go do in duty for 2 hours. He go na do and sit down with him company them. Then sit down in order to say na de Colonel Sergeant Mansare and Sergeant Major Ture come, and they ask if na they no more day on duty, and the answer say no. Then pass and go, and in order to say then come pass back. After that, then see 7 to 8 soldier man them. Then dress in British uniform, where them be supply give them. I then ask the guard commander say if 5 battalions still there on patrol. So the commander tell him say for go ask them. As the worker for go ask them, he see 2 jeep come inside. So he wait and see. The one jeep go inside and the other one be there at the entrance. And a day Captain Senesi come down from the jeep, where they by the entrance with 2 persons them where dressed in the same British uniform. And he call them. When they go to Ram, he see say the other jeep will go inside. 5 men then come down and they all wear black. Where then go meet Captain Senesi, he asked if na they no more day. The guard commander answer say, in other soldier man then they behind the other guard post. He not say, na they Major Ture come to them direction. And Captain Senesi tell him say, let him watch the 2 jeep there as then they go na headquarter. After that, Captain Senesi pull 2 bundle money when na 20 leons na in pocket and draw 2 leaf and put back the balance na in pocket. Captain Senesi straight in hand for give him the money. As in they try for put the gun down and take the money, now they pause him from him back, take the gun in hand and buckle him. Now the Captain Senesi tell and say, if he not left the gun, then go shoot and kill him both. So the other one themself buckle massacre a Yamba, go behind the other guard post. Where Captain Senesi not see them return, he tell them for go behind and use other way. When then they return, then see Major Ture and the one way buckle him ask him say, where the arm store? And Major Ture talk say, now the arm store that they will they run for go watch for so. So the one way Bokulam ask him for a phone, make he put him off, but Captain Senesi tell and say let him take an in hand. And he asks for the one them where them be arrest. Major Ture tell and say, then don't disarm them and the all door one away. And then Captain Senesi tell him say, this way una also, if he tower una kill him. Where them go na the gate, then put him for sidom na gun and points the gun param. And Captain Senesi asks for the armor where them can wait for go take him. One part then go take the 4 new armors and pull the padlock beside the arms and ammunition them day. Then go inside and take ammunition, RPG and bullets them. Then take box them back outside some ammunition then day. And the one way Bokulam puts box in aid and all into a six back. Later, the one way Bokulam tell him say, let him go take box and come with him. So when him go inside, he take 2 empty box come with na door. When he come, he tell them say he dey go toilet, and they tell him say let him go quick and come as motorcar they come for can take them. But as he dey go, he hear Captain Senesi they talk say let them begin fire one time. So he run and go fence side hide. The Judge Advocate Magegba don't adjourn this case to Wednesday, February 7 this year. They prosecuted them now Lieutenant Colonel MBS Kamara, Captain YB Kamara, JAK Sise and other one them, and serve the defense lawyer them na J Cole, I Bangura, JM Kofi, IA Kamara, Adi Macaulay, Julian Cole and other one them. For Liberty Online TV, Ramatu Kamara, they report.
We dey continue with the breakfast show where they come to you live from Liberty Online TV, na Facebook, YouTube, and also na we website. Send me message on any of the platform them we dey watch with this morning as we go answer for your from owners of the viewers them on the topic where they can discuss this morning. Today we dey continue for look inside the leadership struggle within at the University of Salone. If people can remember, last week we start for looking at this issue. We get for do with the two vice chancellor and principal them where they act now at this same capacity at the University of Salone. One na Professor Lawrence Kamara, where the Ministry of Tertiary and Higher Education be appoint, and the other one na Dr. Mohamed Samai, where the University Court be appoint. And inside this same leadership struggle last week, we see outside the ASA na commerce been pull a press release outside and put 6-point resolution them outside and say the University of Salone Court. Now then the law give the power for appoint somebody who acts at the capacity of vice chancellor and principal from the university. Immediately after that, the Ministry of Tertiary and Higher Education been pull a press release outside and dissolve the university court, and also then go ahead and send senior administrative staff them from the university for go leave. Waiting this mean and waiting lead to this decision, all you go know inside the program this morning. Waiting the law say, how the university for operate, and how the Ministry of Higher Education will for serve as supervisory body for they among the institution they are. So all you go know inside the program this morning. And after that decision day where the Ministry of Tertiary and Higher Education been take for dissolve the university court, so no hear from the university yet how then take this news and waiting go be the next step. If then they step down and agree to waiting the Ministry of Higher Education say, all you go know at the program this morning. Continue for watch and like Liberty Online TV page, share the program so more people go join the conversation this morning. Well, for can help we look inside this issue proper one and waiting at the new decision from the university. In the studio this morning, I want to welcome the Director of Public Relations for the University of Salone, when James Tambalebi. Good morning, Mr. Levy, and welcome to the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, Khadija. Good morning, viewers and listeners.
And also on the line again, we go get Lawrence Williams, a journalist, a managing editor for the Freetown Post. Now, one journalist, we don't follow this particular issue, and it don't make people get understanding about what in the University Act say, would I get the power for take the decision there. We go get Lawrence in the studio, and we'll be supposed to get somebody from the Ministry of Tertiary and Higher Education, but unfortunately this morning they send a text message say Inogwe Bukana the studio, but the ministry will get a press conference outside and go address all the issues there. And Liberty Online TV go day forget the ministry there inside.
All right, so we continue the Breakfast Show, and like how Khadija just done at the background, so the theme we will look at the program this morning, also we will continue for look at the saga, na the leadership structure, University of Sierra Leone. It just to introduce with studio guests where we can talk to this morning. And remember, so you said for they watch the program, get any concern or comments for me, send them na the different platform them, also the watch we, or send message to the number 074 500 200-545. We come to the studio guest where we just introduce we na James Tambalebi from the University of Sierra Leone. We've been getting also last week. Also we begin for look at this issue of leadership struggle na the University of Sierra Leone. We see a lot of issues them don't unfold since the last time where we get you na the studio. So let we just hear you first. From the time when you left in at the studio, I guess some people where they watch perhaps don't know the latest development as to what happened since you left the studio regarding the leadership issue at the University of Sierra Leone. What did happen?
Well, you know, so there is a, as you say, the standoff is between the University of Sierra Leone authorities and the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education. And then on Wednesday, then write a letter, then purports for don't dissolve the university court. And on Thursday, they write 2 letters, then say the registrar of the university for go on leave immediately, and the finance director of the University of Sierra Leone for also go on leave. But the authorities maintain the same position, that they then continue for escalate the situation, but then doing it illegally. The authorities are of the view that the ministry not get the authority for dissolve the university court. The university court is a creation by an act of parliament. the head of the university court, when are the chairman, now the chancellor appointed by the president. Therefore, a ministerial appointee, not able to sack a ministerial appointee. That's now one. Two, an organ, an institution, or an entity created by an act of parliament cannot be dissolved by a minister. It can only be done by two authorities. The visitor of the university, when are the president, he gets the supreme executive authority, and the institution will create the instrument, the act, when a parliament. So we have the view that in fact, when you look at the letter where they write, the buffoonery way underline that letter, they not cite no authority in that letter, no legal authority.
Because that's our say for the
all
understanding. Waiting at the contents of the letter we purport for dissolve the university courts. Waiting the inside there. Then
they say they raise some argument and they say one. And some of the argument are very dishonest. One, then say the university not agreeing go whole congregation according to the date. Two, then talk about fees. And then three, then talk about, they say illegalities then happen. The university defiant to the Ministry of Technical and Higher Education. And for that and other reasons, then they dissolve the court. But here is an entity where you did in a conflict, then you're not a judge at the same time. You cannot be a judge, you cannot be a player and a judge. Just because the university resists their illegality, the next step they say, boom, we don't dissolve now. As if
the letter.
The permanent secretary, and then they claim saying the government of Sierra Leone. The permanent secretary is working for the ministry, now the ministry do them. But we continue to emphasize this point, that we get people in the ministry way driven by an agenda, the agenda for vengeance and the agenda of hatred for certain people at the universities because of some backstory. The backstory there, but we really focus on the law.
So who said this vengeance comes from the certain people then we they say will lead to all this leadership struggle with the University of Salone they go through now?
Well, starting from the Director of Education, Mr. Momo, now be a staff of the University of Sierra Leone. He worked the last term where he was staff of the University of Sierra Leone. He was the Deputy Registrar of IPAM. Then sent on transfer, he refused for go. It led to a standoff. Then the institute investigation, the university disciplinary committee, then find out one thing, then lay him off. So he went with a grudge and is very bitter against the university. So in fact, look at the letter we write. The letter we write, now write the letter, now sign them. He say on behalf of the permanent secretary, for send two people on leave. And you not even say he is directed. He writes as if they get the authority. Those two senior officials of the university were appointed by a legal authority, the university court. They were not appointed by the ministry. And therefore the ministry cannot...
Now day before me now so, where Emmanuel J. Momo, the same post where they accused the transferred aggression in the actor now. Vengeance, sorry, in the actor now. Now inside this letter, it said the registrar in contract done from January 31st.
Yes.
So they ask her now for proceed on immediate leave.
The ministry did not give them contract. The university court gave them contract. So it is for the university court to sit and review that contract and decide whether they extend them or they not extend them. It is what they want to do is, this is the struggle. They want to micromanage the university. And as I've been done explain and put in the context is that under the 2005 Act, you get the president who will be the chancellor. But the president was represented by a pro-chancellor. Yeah? And it then gets the power for appoint. But then, the pro-chancellor and sometimes the Ministry of Education will exercise that powers on behalf of the president. And then we face election. President Madabio, then candidate of the SLPP, promised say if he win, it would divide the position of the president from that of the chancellor. And when he win, he do that. And for labor effect that, a new act come into being. So what he then do, not to review them, not to review and review the law. In other words, not to amendment they make, then repeal the old act, then replace her with a new act. And in that new act, they create a position of a chancellor when at the head of the court, the chairman of the court. Then many, if not most of the powers where the president will get as chancellor, then transfer to this new chancellor way for the University of Sierra Leone. And this is not the situation for all public universities. For the University of Sierra Leone, now Dr. Samfa Kuruma. So the law very clear that when it comes to appointment, now the chairman and the court. Yeah. So then one usurp them powers then one regulates, then they supervise, but they cannot decide for the university. Now when the court resists that, then they say the court is insubordinated, the court they challenge government, and the court is not challenging government. The court is, if for anything, the court is protecting the government, because the government now passed that law, and the court is going by the law. So how can you be sticking by the law? How can you be respecting due process and go by the law and then say we challenge government? Now then one bend the law because they get personal agenda and their decisions are driven by sentiments and not supported by law. So they say they don't get the legal right for doing what they do. Then claim say the university delay for appoint a pro vice chancellor, therefore then they appoint. Then claim say the pro vice chancellor is not legally seated, therefore they appoint somebody. But here is the interesting thing. Let's even agree, for the sake of argument, that there is a delay. Let them provide evidence where they remind the court, because they sit in court. The ministry get at least 4 representatives in court.
No, that's as waiting at the constitution of the court. So that send the day.
The university gets academics then ASA is represented, Ministry of Tertiary and Higher Education, the TC, and then some government appointees from MDAs and the Academic Staff Association. You get deans of faculties and academic staff association, and then comprise the university court. So then sit down at the court, then they. Yeah, not to like say they know they then they are represented. And this person way, look at the 2 arguments they will then raise. One, then say there is a delay in the appointment of a pro vice chancellor, therefore they appoint somebody. There was no delay.
So you they say delay no day.
Delay no day.
But according to the letter where the permanent secretary and Ministry of Tertiary Education writes for dissolve this university court, it give a holistic background as to how on a reach here. Part of the background where it give now that after they don't enact the University Act of 2001, the University 2021, sorry, the University Act of Salon failed for appoint the university court failed for appoint a pro-chancellor,
a pro-vice
chancellor, where according to section 9(1) of the said act.
Well, let's take them one by one.
Let's just try for ask the question, because based on your explanation and waiting the ministry published to the public, let them get a clear understanding. Some dishonesty seem for I don't know from which side, but until they are now, you will clear them. So according to Mr. Cooper, it says section 9 of the said act, so in the 2021 act of the university, we give the courts the power for appoint a pro vice chancellor, fail for acts now that capacity there, and with a consensus where the court and the ministry gets say then for appoint somebody for acts now this capacity.
Yes. So number one, one of the criteria, in fact the only criterion for appoint waiting qualify you for be a pro vice chancellor is that you must be a sitting deputy vice chancellor. So I just want I can explain. Section 9(1) we reference is a university shall have a pro vice chancellor who shall be appointed by the court from among the deputy vice chancellors of the university. So that's what they make it. So we may not get an administrative arrangement where in this position for be rotational in an order of Frobe College, Commerce, and IPAM. Frobe College belong provide a pro-vice chancellor in the person of this Professor Lawrence Kamara, we don't appoint so. When he was DVC of Frobe College, he was pro-vice chancellor. After in termdom as DVC of Frobe College, automatically in position as pro-vice chancellor terminates, because the condition for being pro-vice chancellor, you must be a DVC of one of the constituent colleges. After it become the turn of Professor Mohamed Samai. Now, whilst Professor Lawrence Kamara been served, under that same agreement when they criticize now, they didn't raise any criticism. They were fine with it. Now, only when it come now to Professor Mohamed Samai, then say, they not recognize that arrangement day. Why you recognize them when other people were serving, but when it come to Professor Mohamed Samai, you say you know they recognize them.
So is it a personal issue where Professor Samai they gets with people at the ministry?
Well, there is a backstory to that, and the backstory they say is the minister now up to an appointment have been staff of Commerce, and have been boss with Professor Samai have been boss, and there is no love lost between them. That's the story that is going on. But we're not interested in that. We just know say their decisions are not driven by law, they are driven by sentiment. That's the point. So the point that they try to make is, but let's even agree say Professor Samai is not legally seated according to their own argument. After we don't recognize somebody, we don't serve in that position before Professor Samai, they don't get problem with them. But when it comes to Professor Samai, they get problem with them. But let's even agree say he's not legally seated. That's not give them the right for go appoint somebody. In fact, in the first place, read the whole of the Universities Act. There is no provision for an acting vice chancellor. The only thing we did now a pro-vice chancellor who can serve as acting vice chancellor in the absence of the vice chancellor and principal. So if you say we own position illegal, Professor Samai is not legally seated, then you go take illegality by appointing somebody, one way don't retire, and two way not to a sitting deputy vice chancellor for act in the place of the vice chancellor and principal. But so how can you undertake illegality to correct illegality?
According to what the ministry say, because it go be appropriate since unfortunately Dr. Momo don't agree for the between at the studio this morning, but this morning again something just guy saying no they make them again.
Okay.
But there's a document when they put out there we get clear explanation. And according to this document,
will they dispute that explanation there?
No, JT, according to that document, they then say the ministry we don't reach a consensus with the University of Salone.
No.
For make the ministry appoint somebody.
No, that's not true.
We make the appoint Professor Lawrence Kamara
that's
for
not true.
fill the void.
Let them provide the documents. This is an internet age. If there is such an agreement, will they challenge them? Let them provide that document. There is no such agreement.
So then say,
there is no agreement.
Then say them. Let make the appoint Professor Lawrence Kamara for fill the void.
When will they challenge them? Let them provide the evidence. There is no evidence.
So on the contrary, the university court acts on the contrary and appoint somebody.
That's not true.
Dr. Mohamed Samai.
That's not true.
And now, on another give their own person the opportunity for civil function.
It's not about opportunity. It's about the law. Look at the law. Already, in fact, the position of pro-vice chancellor, whether we have a sitting vice chancellor or not, the position of pro-vice chancellor, a day. So not to like so say where this go now, they appoint this. The pro-vice chancellor, the position of vice chancellor and principal, if they go side by side with the position of the pro-vice chancellor and principal, if they go side by side. So you know they say until there is a vacancy before you appoint this. No. So whilst and on several occasions, this is the interesting thing, the pro-vice chancellor an alternate signatory to the university's accounts. So when the vice chancellor can go leave or wait travel, the pro-vice chancellor in the act. Evidence don't they say, one, Professor Lawrence Kamara don't sign documents them as pro-vice chancellor, and he don't sign checks, he don't approve documents. Two, Professor Mohamed Samai, he don't serve as pro-vice chancellor in the absence of the vice chancellor and principal. So not to like for say where this, no they now they appoint this, then they go side by side. These are positions created by the law. We on argument is, one, why you for recognize the first person, then the second one, you say, no, you know, they recognize them. Two, why you go say this is illegal, they go appoint somebody else. So let's even say you don't want Professor Samai is illegally seated. Let's agree. The law say, if you take from one of the three deputy vice chancellors, why you not go Commerce, IPAM, and take the head, the DVC, or you not go Frobe College and take the DVC. Why you will violate the law simply because apparently you get issue with Professor Mohamed Samai.
So now where the ministry said waiting at the position of the university regarding that
the ministry not recognize, that the ministry not get the rights. This is an extrajudicial decision. It's not right, it's not legal, it's not supported by any law, and therefore not recognized.
So the court is not dissolved?
It's not dissolved at all.
All right.
Yeah.
We continue with the breakfast show where they come to you live from Liberty Online TV, now Facebook, YouTube, and also now we website. In case you just they join we today, we continue for look at the leadership struggle where they at the University of Salone, outside the Ministry of Tertiary Education, when at the supervisory body for the university, they appoint Professor Lawrence Kamara for be the vice chancellor and principal of the university. But the university court, they say the ministry not get the powers for appoint somebody for act in that capacity. Now then get the power, we make themselves appoint Dr. Mohamed Samai, we then say now in they recognize for be the vice chancellor and principal of the University of Salone. For sake of this make, the Ministry of Higher Education been pull a letter where they say they don't dissolve the university courts. Well, for know if the university court still a function, we still get JT between at the studio. We can talk to her shortly after this break.
Corruption, now we country ain't no good.
Sisi, you don't ready?
Ready for waiting.
For declare your assets.
It don't escape me. I feel say we are just declare inside 2023. It don't know.
No, Parliament we don't make law now say. Now after every 2 year, public officer therefore declare the assets, income and liability to the Anti-Corruption Commission. If you be declared inside 2023, that means say you be default the previous year.
So it means say I for declare back inside 2024?
Yes, me dear. From January 1, 2024 to March 31, 2024, all the one that where they elect na office and all government workmen where they grade 7 and above for declare their income, assets and liability. The one themselves where they below grade 7, but where they in charge of money business na their office for declare. You can only declare through the commissioning website where na www.anticorruption.gov.sl or assets.anticorruption.gov.sl. The one them where we don't use this process just need for login with the username and password where the commission be sent at the email and declare. Member say, if you not declare, the commission gets the power for direct making institution all your salary, suspend you, and if you still make trangayes, they go sack you after 3 months.
Me sister, like where you don't remember me so, and not go waste time for declare this time.
This message they come out from the Anti-Corruption Commission.
Corruption, now we country.
This is Liberty Online TV powered by Orange Sierra Leone. Orange.
Alright, welcome back. You still watch the Liberty Breakfast Show, and today we tell you we continue to look at the leadership saga at the University of Sierra Leone. Also, we get at the studio with James Tambalebi, where they tell we about the latest development since the last time we left the studio. Also, we see the Ministry of Tertiary and Higher Education don't dissolve the university courts. They also don't send certain people on leave, but according to Mr. Leby, the university they recognize the decision here because according to them they are unlawful. Well, we continue to look at this issue, and we tell us say we they join on the line. We want now £1 we guess them. Lawrence Williams, we now managing editor for Freetown Post newspaper, as himself go continue for talk about this issue. We did try to get Lawrence now on the line. Hello, Lawrence.
Yes, hello, good morning.
Alright, Lawrence, now one person we don't follow closely the issue we get for do with the leadership saga at the University of Sierra Leone. Firstly, just tell we as a journalist and somebody we don't monitor this situation closely, what's your position on the whole back and forth where the University of Sierra Leone deal with the Ministry of Tertiary and Higher Education?
Well, I don't think say my position actually could be relevant in the discourse, but rather looking at the situation, I would say that it's embarrassing for academia as a whole because the University of Sierra Leone, comprising the 3 constituent colleges, the Ministry of Higher Technical Education, the Tertiary Education Commission, all of these institutions put together make up the highest level of academia in the country. And if we are faced with such an embarrassing situation, then it means that academia itself is condescending to a level where we could say, proper, and that's not even inspire young people for even aspire for greater heights in academia. Because looking at all this hulabaloo, looking at the law as well, the misinterpretation or misapplication of the law, particularly with regards to the responsibilities of parties concerned in the Universities Act of 2021, the TEC Act, and that of the responsibility of the ministry as well. If you see professors or bookman and they all they misconstrue or they misinterpret deliberately or otherwise what the law say, then it suggests that there's a problem with academia.
You just make mention of the law, Lawrence. You're not a lawyer, but based on research where you don't do, from where this back and forth from the University of Sierra Leone courts, that of the Ministry of Tertiary and Higher Education, don't they come as to who that get the powers according to the law we establish them. You don't they make several quotation of that particular law, they just for give people a clear context as to who that get the powers. Based on your research the way you don't do, who that get the powers inside this case, and who that they about or who that don't misuse the powers where the law give them.
Now, the Universities Act of 2021, now the substantive law where under which the university they operate, which means that the old law where them don't repeal and replace no longer exist, and it not get any bearing to what they happen currently as far as the university is concerned. The act tell we say the vice chancellor, now the appointment of the vice chancellor and principals for a substantive vice chancellor and principal. Now the act provides that you have a joint search committee where now they actually recommend, and that recommendation now the minister they take now to the chancellor and give the chancellor or advise the chancellor based on the recommendation of that joint search committee. And it is only the content of that joint search committee where the minister advice on the chancellor therefore considered for actually choose or decide who that for be vice chancellor and principal. Now with regards to the poor vice chancellor, now the university courts, now they appoint poor vice chancellor from among the deputy vice chancellors them of the 3 constituent colleges them. And there is nowhere in the law we say the ministry can appoint a poor vice chancellor or the TEC can appoint a poor vice chancellor. However, in this case, the appointment of the acting poor vice chancellor is not expressly provided for in the law, but by necessary implication, granted that the court now has the power to appoint a poor vice chancellor, by necessary implication, the court can also appoint an acting poor vice chancellor. So that is what the law says. All of the T's, yeah.
So the explanation where you don't give according to within the law say, now the letter where the Ministry of Tertiary Education will be signed by the permanent secretary, now the same thing is say. It say after a consensus where the ministry don't get with the university courts, they agree say let the ministry appoint somebody and come keep them posted. So now that make the ministry be appoint Professor Lawrence Kamara, so they then go able for get a person where then go appoint as the vice chancellor. But according to the ministry, the courts go act otherwise and they appoint a parallel vice chancellor and principal. After when they don't sit down, they don't get consultation, and they don't agree, say let the ministry appoint somebody.
Now let me just give the express provision. Section 9(1) of the Universities Act says, a university shall have a full vice chancellor who shall be appointed by the court from among the deputy vice chancellors of the university. Now, that tells you now the court they appoint a full vice chancellor, equally so by necessary implication, and the court they appoint acting full vice chancellor. Now, the court failing to appoint under this particular section, or as you rightly say, go by some kind of arrangement. Now, generally, like you say, once a practice where they can only do overtime, they can regard them as law. But in an instance where there is an express provision as to what should be done, it is my view that what the law provided for expressly should be followed duly, failing which any arrangement outside this particular provision could be construed as illegal and in order to stand the test of time. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but let the lawyer they opine on this. For the fact that they had an arrangement outside this particular.
All right, we continue with the breakfast show. We will talk to Lawrence Williams, we're a journalist. All right, so don't get Lawrence back on the line.
Hello.
Yes, Lawrence, continue. We lost you at some point, but you don't come in back.
Okay, as I was saying that the law adequately provides for how for appoint and who for appoint a full vice chancellor and by necessary implication active full vice chancellor. So whether if it used to be an arrangement practice in the past, as long as the new act, the substantive law, don't adequately provide for that, I think so they need to now abandon the old practice and go by waiting the express provision of section 9(1)(c). So whatever arrangement, in my view, I will consider as illegal, null and void. And with regards to the dissolution of the courts, this one that don't be another issue as well, as the ministry say the government of Sierra Leone don't decide for dissolve the university court. Now, the University Act of 2021 provide or give the university court the power for discipline their own members, that members of the university court, for suspend, remove or terminate the contract or dismiss any member within the university court. There is nowhere in the law, and that even make I even go read the TEC Act last night, where give anybody, a person or authority, the autonomy and the powers for dissolve the university court. And granted that it is only the university court that can discipline its own members by way of suspension, dismissal, termination, etc., as the case may be, after due investigation and for good cause. It also, by necessary implication, means that the university court not only get the power, no other person else, and the law not even ever contemplates the dissolution of the university court, because it is the highest administrative organ of the university. Additionally, if let's argue for argument's sake that the TEC or the ministry had got the powers or autonomy for actually dissolve the university court, the Universities Act of 2021 should and must have made reference to that particular provision. Since none exists in the University Act, it doesn't exist anywhere else.
So Lawrence, in all of this, much is expected from the House of Parliament, because now then they make them lawyers, so and way issues of this they arise, the public and they expect them for coming for see how they go resolve them. But we clearly don't see say Parliament gets a clear position, say then they support the ministry. What in this mean? And miss the kind of struggle where they happen for leadership at the University of Sierra Leone, and the Parliament don't take side.
Now, it may interest me for law will not say, as much as Parliament na the principal legislative organ of the state, Parliament is not the competent jurisdiction for interpret the laws. However, the Parliamentary Oversight Committee has a role to play in all of this, because since they are the makers of the law, that they enact the law, it is construed that they should have a fair understanding of what the intent and spirit behind the law was before its enactment. So in my view, I think say Parliament need for play that Cumbra role, the Oversight Committee for play that Cumbra role, call all the parties together and look at the law fairly and try to resolve this matter, because I mean it's embarrassing for the country. It's embarrassingly embarrassing. I think say they need for direct that all of these parties put a hold to their hold positions. Let's go back to the table, look at what the law says, and even when the law says XYZ, they can also find some other remedies outside the dictates of the law, but should be informed or guided by what the law says in order to bring all of these impasse, into settlement. So for the parliamentary committee to now be supporting, taking sides or siding with one party as against the other and imposing some kind of directives where no justiciable, it's unfair, and that's not a good practice, not to that the parliamentary oversight committee for do in this particular instance. So they have a whole lot of work to do, and I believe that with sound reasoning, getting their acts together, they could actually do better for resolve this issue, and it's getting out of hands. They need to do it urgently, because what we've been seeing, the dismissal of some officers of the university whose contract is said to have expired or so. I mean, all of these they speak directly to the current situation, and that is not the normal way to go. That is not the normal practice. In administration of any institution. Less of a university way for being run with all seriousness.
So, Lawrence, is it advisable at this stage for the university courts at the University of Sierra Leone for going to the courts so that they will go ask for interpretation of the laws as per who that get the power for do waiting based on the University Act?
Nothing stops anyone from actually taking up litigation in terms of approaching the courts for an interpretation of the law. However, that is not the best or suitable or appropriate action we therefore take at this particular stage. What needs to be done is for all parties to actually sit, iron out their differences, because there seems to be some personality conflict involved in all of this back as well. They need for sit-down to themselves, let them put their egos them aside and look at the issue and try to resolve them. Now, big man, now professors we are talking about. We are talking about doctors and professors. Come on. They should be able to do better than the Kush boys and other people that would engage in community palaver and chamot and whatever where they settle now. These are professors. These are academics. They should be, they should take the lead in conflict resolution. Mind you, even the university, there is a peace and conflict department. You get peace experts, them, Nana University, they can call them as well. So there are better ways to do it rather than going to the courts.
Lawrence, from where these letters don't they come out from last week to now, if you go na Frabe College, I don't know how Commerce and IPAM Talek, you they see heavy presence of riot police them flop na the university. Over the weekend, we see a press release we come out from the deputy registrar. We say some group of so-called quote and unquote people they want for protest today at the university, although it's saying that the student union leadership na the issue. But when you talk to other people, you can go say this strike action where some so-called people, according to what the deputy registrar say, get for do with this particular action. What in this all mean for the students them now we're caught up in this standoff?
Well, and again for the students, their studies in the very first instance. This way they do so, it will have a telling impact on the smooth running of the university. What if lecturers them they go on strike tomorrow. So okay, we'll not a lecture, we'll not a teach. Nothing that they go on. You cannot sack all of the lecturers. You cannot dismiss them for taking an industrial action, for example, or sitting down at home in protest to when they happen. So I've probably not observed the presence of high security deployment at the university because now may roots that one day. So it's uncalled for. Like I said, the Parliamentary Oversight Committee cannot be sitting down, folding arms and crossing their legs over while all this is happening. They should actually call all parties together and let them try for resolver. If they fail to, I think say this one will get a significant impact on the academic year. Because if lecturers they say, or the ASA, Academic Staff Association, say who said not agree, will not agree for this, ministry self poll your position, so who said will not agree for that, they who stand and they who stand, T self poll your position, then are the students they suffer. And the students are going for suffer, and this one going for derail, going for affect lectures, going for affect the students' preparation for exams, for the semester and everything. So it has a huge telling impact. It goes beyond when to this issue, beyond what we could even envisage.
So the stage where this whole saga don't reach, and the way how we see everybody hold on to their own position regarding this case, taken from the ministry and that of the university, you think say it possible for let both parties go back to the drawing board, sit down and dialogue and get this issue resolved?
It's possible. Like I said, they only need to put aside their egos. It's possible. There are some part. I want to say there seems to be some personality issues involved. I mean, they only need to put aside their egos. And even let's say the university courts, the Tawa, the education ministry, the Tawa, Parliament, Naina the Kumbra and all of this. If you bring the whole camp together and try for resolve. If Parliament failed, then I'm telling you this situation will continue for a long while. Because the court self not will accept the decision of the ministry as well will not accept the decision of the court. And the funniest thing why this thing will linger on for a while, because the president did not relinquish in executive authority and control over this university. So for somebody to say that the minister now can act in that executive capacity, no, it not work so, because the president had relinquished his executive control and regulation and authority over the university. He's just a visitor. Whenever I go for convocation or what have you, now they go visit the university. He's just a visitor. He has no, regulatory powers anymore. Now the courts and the other structures or organs established by the Act, and they regulate the university. The ministry, they provide a supervisory role. So supervisory role now for properly advise, guide them if they go outside the dictates of the law, say no, the law so now for do this so. Then spend that in it. So supervisory role, you need for guide them so that they always be on track. And supervisor, for example, when you supervise somebody, you not get the express authority for punish that person. You can actually recommend to a more competent or higher authority who possess the power and autonomy for render disciplinary or punitive measures. But in this instance, the university courts now debate it all. Frankly speaking, by waiting, me don't see and read and understand from the law. So the Parliamentary Oversight Committee capable for bring all of these parties together and resolve this issue if they actually demonstrate their willingness and readiness to do so.
So Lawrence, some school of thought, they say the only way for resolve this issue may be the president's need for stepping back and try for call all parties involved and try for get a frank and thorough resolution for end this dispute among the ministry, that of the University of Sierra Leone and other body them. You agree with that school of thought there?
The president could actually step in. It's possible for let the president call them because he is the fountain of honor. It's possible for let the president intervene for resolver, but not in the manner in which the ministry is acting and not in the manner in which the TC is acting. and not in a manner in which even the university court is acting. So the president can also play that Kumbra role. And of course, also the president and peace and conflict expert. He can call them all to a round table, they discuss, iron out the issues, look at what the law say. Probably they can even give into some compromises where could be agreed by all parties. It's not that the president will call for people will say, this is what I want or this is what should happen. I don't think say the president in his sound reasoning capacity and judgment to actually do that. The president knows what to do in an instance where the parliamentary oversight committee has failed, so he can actually intervene. Nothing stops the visitor of the university and even the chancellor for letting someone meet him of all these parties.
You just make mention of the chancellor. That lead me to the final question where I go ask you, say, in all of this struggle, leadership struggle at the university, nobody know a from the chancellor for make a decision or for make a statement try for address all of this impasse.
The chancellor is a member of the court, so it suggests that the chancellor is fully abreast with all what is happening. Of course, no is any specific correspondence directly from the hand of the chancellor. But however, since the chancellor here the president, now the president they appoint the chancellor, I think the chancellor can also get the responsibility for now call the party and say, buddy, who this thing they go in there and say don't get out of hand, so we need for meet, we need for see how best we can able for address this thing. They will be playing some rules behind the scene for let it try for put a halt and bring all of these parties together. So the chancellor as well has a responsibility to deliver in all of this. Mind you, the chancellor is a member and apparently the head of the university court. So the chancellor gets a role for playing all of this.
All right, many thanks, Lawrence. We join in at the program this morning and give you your own view as to the leadership struggle where they go on now, that the University of Salone and the Ministry of Tertiary and Higher Education. We continue for look inside this issue. In case you just tune in, make sure say you like and also share the program so that more people go be part of the conversation and get a clear understanding but waiting the happen now and the standoff within at the University of Salone as to a decision where the Ministry of Tertiary and Higher Education been take sometimes last week for dissolve the university court, where the University Act of 2021 give the power for appoint a vice chancellor and principal of the University of Salone.
All right, we continue with the breakfast show and we still get James Tambalebi in the studio. He come out from the University of Sierra Leone as we just don't listen to Lawrence Williams. We be analyze waiting things say they go wrong and waiting need for be done at this time for ensure say they resolve the issue about leadership business at the University of Sierra Leone. I'm gonna come back to you, James Tambalebi, as we continue this discussion. Earlier you be done state say the University of Sierra Leone no go recognize the decision from the ministry for dissolve the university courts, but also let we look at the other side of the discussion. We get for do with the one them where the ministry say they don't send them on leave. Then people here they go on leave or waiting to happen.
No, I don't make it clear. The finance director and the registrar, yes, then contract expire. Then they into contract with the university court. Not to the MTHE give them contract. Therefore, the MTHE cannot review their contract or do otherwise or take other steps. The university court now for sit down back and review and decides as to whether they go extend the mandate of them two people or not for extend the mandate. The ministry cannot directly run the university. That can only happen trade under that old law. Under this new law, it's not possible. So that decision is just like the decision for appoint, the decision for sending people on leave, and the decision for terminate, as they say, then purportedly dissolve the courts. Now, like putting them picking and can say testilo, then just the testilo. They not get the power for them. But I'll pick out 5 issues in an interview with Lawrence, and I want to make one important clarification. What is contested now is not the substantive position of vice chancellor and principal, because for that there is an express provision where it say there will be a search committee where the university court and the commission will put together, and then will get an appropriate person and brief the minister, and the minister will brief the chancellor, and on the basis of that advice, the chancellor get the final authority for appoint. That is not, will not reach that stage yet. Waiting the stage day, now when they don't appoint this, the vice chancellor and principal, the president get another job. And then an office where the ministry appoints Professor Lawrence Kamara. Now, in this order happened on the 11th December, now in the ministry appoints Professor Lawrence Kamara, whilst Professor Fodesa in office. In fact, on that same 11th, it coincide. Now, it don't write letter to the courts for ask for leave of absence because it don't get appointment for go elsewhere. So no, the vacancy not been there. In fact, now on the 13th, 2 days later, now Professor Fodesa hand over to Professor Lawrence Kamara. But then court come meet on the 18th December and say no, that decision not right because there is no vacancy, and second, not to get right for appoint. So that's that idea. Say there was a delay and there is it not work, it not tenable. But here's the other thing. So what is contested now the position of the pro vice chancellor. The ministry, they say the position vacant, now make them fill them. The university court, they say no, it's not vacant because at the time when they appoint Professor Lawrence Kamara, Professor Fodesa was still in office. So how can you say vacant? But
from one of the pandis back and forth in the ministry, as soon as the ministry pull that letter for say they don't dissolve the university court, they don't get no legal authority again for function because they don't dissolve them. Heavy presence of riot police they at the Frabe College campus, and over the weekend I see a press release where the deputy registrar na pull and say some quote and unquote so-called group of individuals they plan for stage a protest.
We self agree about the student disturbances, but we not believe say you don't get any connection. They are acting on their own. We not get no connection with them.
But looking at all waiting they go on so.
When
and it don't take people in the reading. Students they want for protest. And because of this protest, if you go down at the campus,
we condemn. In fact, as a responsible authority of the university, the court will not condone violence on campus. Never. So there is no connection as far as we're concerned.
So they are the heavy presence of riot police there?
Apparently not because of the student disturbances and they want to maintain law and order, and the court is in favor of that to maintain law and order na campus.
So for Lawrence,
but let make another clarification.
They can't make the clarification. For Lawrence in own statement, one thing we go resolve this for the University of Sierra Leone and the ministry on a SIDOM dialogue and get a permanent solution to this.
Yes, it's possible.
You think so? It's
possible. It's possible. So here is a compromise from my perspective. We don't know say na Professor Fodesa, Professor Mohamed Samai. Now they don't want. The bottom line of all this, it's about Professor Mohamed Samai, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Commerce. If they don't want him, there is a compromise. There is the head of Frabe College who can act as Pro Vice Chancellor, and there is the head of IPAM who can act as Pro Vice Chancellor. So they can bypass him.
But Anya, we begin look at this issue. You see a rotational agreement.
A rotational.
And then now forget.
Now then forget him. Because Frabe College been done perform Pro Vice Chancellor role.
So why you want now to let them go back now?
No, well, it can be a compromise because it's still there within the law. You know, it better than taking somebody out. The ministry go take somebody out of that circle for like an act. They say if you don't want Professor Mohamed Samai, there are 2 other deputy vice chancellors you can still appoint. That could be a compromise.
If fear for let it be a decision of who that you don't want or a decision of who that competent for all the
not fair. That is why we keep arguing that the decision of the ministry is driven by vengeance and sentiments, not supported by law. Because the law say this, then say they do otherwise. And the whole crux of this matter, because the turn of Professor Mohamed Samai, for let be Pro Vice Chancellor, they act in that position. And because the position not vacant, by law, he automatically acts as acting Vice Chancellor. He automatically acts in the position of Vice Chancellor and Principal. The ministry no one dandy. So a compromise could be, even though they're unfair, but it can still be a compromise because they act within the law.
Why the university, if there's going to be a compromise, why una go bargain for that kind of compromise there?
No, we're not a bargain. They say it better, it go better because it is within the law. It better pass go take somebody outside way one.
But if not in turn.
Not in turn, definitely.
So
if
why?
I make this clear. Contrary to the impression where they say professors then they at loggerheads, Professor Mohamed Samai not even tension for this job. Honestly. And there is no conflict between Professor Mohamed Samai and Professor Lawrence Kamara. Not at all.
So if you say enough tension,
just
why not just try for step aside, say, okay, my appointment don't look, they cause a lot of confusion. The honorable thing for me for do, that just step aside and allow the university court.
It will be a betrayal of the court because the court, they fight not for a person. This is about principles. This is about due process.
The person they don't want.
Yes, but this is the point I'm making. The courts, they stick by the rule of law and due process. So it is not the business. They are not doing it for Mohamed Samai. They are not doing it for no other person. They are saying it is the turn of Professor Mohamed Samai to be pro-vice chancellor. So Mohamed Samai not get a say in this. It will have to be the business of the court to say now, as a compromise, even though this is unfair to Professor Mohamed Samai, probably as a compromise, we can say we can take from the other two colleges for act in this position because the law not give right to other person. I'm only saying maybe as a compromise, but that is also unfair to Professor Samai because now in turn for acts as pro-vice chancellor and in the absence of the vice chancellor and principal, he got for acts in that position until the search committee gets a substantive, competent person for hold that position there. So, but if they talk about compromise, me in my personal capacity, I just say that could be a compromise because it's not tension for the job. But now the law say now one of the three deputy vice chancellors and now meet up this situation there. Now then the position, the courts been done do that rotational agreements and don't endorse them. One person don't do them for the college don't benefit. Now the turn of commerce for benefits before you go to IPAM. And then this hue and cry. I'm just suggesting as a person from a personal capacity that could be a compromise. But the court not go allow for let the ministry take somebody from out of the three people and the three deputy vice chancellors.
No, this court say they say not go allow. They already dissolved.
No, it's not dissolved. No, it's not dissolved.
So what if the ministry take legal action against the court?
Well, the law then they
say okay,
it's up to them.
We are not properly constituted. We are not get the powers for act or say anything.
The counter argument is then self not get the power for appoint and then self not get the power for appoint so they are not eligible.
So this issue of dissolving the courts, the one the way they represent the ministry in the courts, waiting don't be the response. Then self stand with the university or then they go by waiting.
Of course, then they with the ministry. They assume say then they would the ministry take the decision. Say then they dissolve the court when as I say extrajudicial
that means
powers.
The court itself is divided.
It must be divided, of course. TC sit down at the court and the TC chairman personally they support the ministry in position. So yeah, the court's divided.
Then the majority
chancellor
of the university. Nine at the head of the court.
Nine at the chairman of the court.
The chairman of the
court. So all them position hold on. The court meet on the 16th, then take a position, then meet on the 24th. Then stick by that position. That is the position of the court.
Because the court
the majority, not the majority.
Speaking with one voice.
Now the majority of members.
I will ask Lawrence the same question, and the chancellor, where now the chair of this court and also head of the university, they part of all of this.
They part of all of this.
How much it don't come for display in leadership role and resolve this issue?
During court meeting on the 16th. And on the 24th, then two meetings and then 9 chair them. Now under them, they reach the decision say the court will not agree to the ministry. Now under them they meet the ministry, the court reaffirm in position held on the 16th. That reaffirmation was done on the 24th. They meet in parliament on 2 occasions, and this is also important. Parliament engaged the court, but then instead of we ask the questions. They say, Lord, let the court allow Professor Lawrence Kamara, let act for 6 months. Then we ask, where is the law that says so? The law not say so. All they were doing is to plead with the university on the basis of sentiments also. then basically they were trying to tell the court to violate their own laws. And the court say, no, we dey stand by the law. Now we not make this law. We not go change them. If una one law we do what una want do. We not go change the law and count them. Then we go do what una want do. But as it is now, the law say anybody who want act in that position, they get for be one of the 3 deputy vice chancellors. And this man who the ministry don't appoint, now a former deputy vice chancellor, and don't reach retirement age. So when I go amend the law, they want to count them back. That is where then say the university courts don't challenge parliament. They don't challenge parliament. Then refuse for do what was illegal because the parliament want the courts for bend the law and accommodate Professor Lawrence Kamara by sentiments. That's the situation. And this now a promise made by the president as a legacy that it will depoliticize the university. It will separate in position from that of the chancellorship. If you don't achieve that, the business of the parliament and the business of the ministry is to ensure that that legacy is protected. But what they are doing is to throw spanner into that legacy. And the court is standing by that legacy. Due process and the rule of law.
So what's next? After all this, what's next?
Well, the court is not averse to anything. They can dialogue. It can be solved, but within the law. That is the situation.
I shall say where una see that letter, say the ministry don't dissolve the court and say the immediate send when they send senior staff them of the university for go on immediate leave. Una go don't meet and discuss the issue. Waiting una resolve that as we speak now.
Then discuss with the chancellor as chairman of the court, and they not recognize the decision is illegal, and they not get power for send people on leave.
So as it is now,
it's an extrajudicial decision.
As it is now, so many confusion at the University of Salone. Una the struggle with order for be the vice chancellor and principal, and self order for be the registrar, order for be the director of finance. The ministry don't appoint people for acts and then capacity there. So and the substantive one them, according to what the court say, the ministry not get the right or the authority for taking decision in the. So literally, now two people in the serve na them position.
Yeah, there is a confusion, and that's because you see it's disappointing the length at which the ministry go just by spiting one person, then go throw away an act of parliament where give autonomy to the university, then go undertake an extrajudicial decision for purportedly dismissing the court. It shows the length at which people can go just to score a personal goal, take a decision that is not legal just because it get issued to one person. It's very, very unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. And this is, they don't even think about the implications for decades to come. That by taking this decision, you just don't render the Universities Act useless. And that in successive years to come, successive governments can do what is worse than this.
What you go
so
say?
It's a bad legacy, and it will set a bad precedent, and that go undo the precedent in legacy for give autonomy to the university. And the court is simply saying we are standing by the law and we are protecting that legacy.
JT, what you go say to somebody where go say highly disappointed at an institution or a body way full of professors, way full of doctors, way ought for no better and act according to laws the way then they part of, way parliament enact, rather than they act on the contrary as if people will not even get knowledge.
They should be disappointed, but this is not the making. The university court is not responsible.
I know they talk about the university court to be specific.
This is
all
imposed,
the parties involved.
Yes, this is not something when, because of personal reasons, because of sentiments, because of grudge, because of vendetta, this is something imposed, brought on the university.
So if professor then they behave so.
Not a professor then behave so. The professors are saying, the professor way, me they talk from your own professor way, na Professor Mohamed Samai, the law protects them for hold this position. So not only now the one the way one break the law because of their personal reason, now they for who responsible. If for anything the university court they stand by the law and they stand by due process, they should not be held responsible. Those that are they have their personal interest then get the grievances. We disappointingly then can go at that length just for score a goal because of personal reasons, because of sentiments, because of vendetta. Now then for who responsible? The university courts merely they say this is our right, this is our mandate as per law, therefore we stand with ground. So yes, it is shameful, it is disgraceful, but not to the university court responsible. The ministry is responsible for this.
When next the university court is expected to sit? I
really don't know. I can't tell. I can't tell because the university court may not make a position clear. They meet on the 18th December.
The reason why I ask, after the latest
January,
development,
they meet on the 24th January.
So after this latest development where the ministry said they don't dissolve them, the public wants to know if they get any plan for seats.
Well, if that happen, the public will know. But for now, I don't know of any of those plans.
As it seems now, you might not agree, but that's going to be the fact where a lot of people then go agree with, say, the university court seem powerless and the Ministry of Tertiary Education will just get supervisory role seem to be very powerful in all of this confusion.
Well, then they take on powers where they not get. That is the thing. Now, powers where they not get, then they take. And the university courts, they resist that. Simple. They not get power, then always thing they do has no legal legs to stand on. Now, extrajudicial powers. Then just they say because we are the ministry, we get the powers for those who want to. No. We are a country of rules. We are a country of law and order. And there's a country of due process. So basically, then just they stampede themselves and the university courts, they resist within the window. That's the situation.
Based on how everybody seems for don't take sides, the TEC, the Oversight Committee, in Parliament, and the other body them, from whose side you sit on now, who do you think that the best person will go play the mediation role for resolve this issue?
I honestly don't know because the president they go in a dilemma because he may not give up in powers and we don't talk him publicly, he don't make a policy statement, it don't become a law, that's not interfere into the running of the university. Be that as it may, he still remains the visitor and the president of the republic. I think he should be the best person, in my view, for intervene.
A lot of issues from when this thing happen, don't they spark conversation from the public and self we na the media who don't look at this issue thoroughly and considering the president now one person we so they follow trending topics na the media. They don't know, they don't hear about this particular issue. Is it that they're not just interested or somebody they somewhere where they mislead them?
I can't tell. I honestly can't tell. I honestly, and I don't want to go into the realm of speculation. I can't tell.
So going forward, in all of them issues there where when they get at the university, it clearly shows the administratively safe the university not the function properly. And somebody there where they suffer for that.
I agree.
When una go sit down from the university and say, gentlemen, let we act accordingly as how people and they expect we for act.
That is for the ministry because the court is acting accordingly. The court is going by the rules. The court is going by due process. Now people at the ministry feel say they get power where they not get. They want exercise power where they not get. They want bulldoze their way, they want bully, they want usurp powers. So it's for them to go back to the drawing board and say this is not the right thing to do. What the court is doing basically is not challenging government. On the contrary, the court is for the government and the court is determined to protect the legacy of the president, where the university is autonomous and the court is allowed to run things. The ministry want micromanage the university court not agree. That is a conflict. And you get people and where they lead the ministry, we get personal grievances, they get vendetta, and their decisions are not supported by law but by sentiment, then feel say them for exercise powers where they not get. So that is the situation.
How all of this they affect the general membership of the other various campus then?
It definitely they affect them, especially at the secretariat level. People are divided. People are not motivated. In some people don't go to work because then a fear for let not say their loyalty there or yonder. But in terms of the administration of the colleges, then they go on lectures, they go on. it is the university secretariat that is directly feeling the pinch of this. Colleges then go on, lectures are going on. The three heads of the different universities, university colleges, then they operate. Commerce they operate, lectures they go on. Frobe College they operate, lectures they go on. IPAM they operate, lectures they go on. Now the university secretariat. But it will come at a time when some of these issues will have to be, some demands will have to be made by then colleges to the university secretariat, and there will be struggle to respond to them. But the universities are going on. The different colleges are operating, and because then gets the deputy vice chancellors, then they go on smoothly.
RJT continue for the between the program, or they can now take message them where people don't send as themselves get their own views them waiting on the happen at the University of Sierra Leone and that of the Ministry of Tertiary and Higher Education and the standoff with this don't cause. The first one I will take now from Alusign content on Facebook. They say nobody talks about the poor standards of the university. All they care about is how to have their friends and tribesmen in position for the benefit of themselves.
Still on the Facebook page, Sidi Bangura say the issue of the University of Sierra Leone is sad. Politicizing education is the worst thing a country can do. Education should be a separate body supervised by the ministry. This tells you that we are not ready to compete with international universities. Sad reality, bogus promises of fixing our education system. The ministry should leave the administration of the university to do their job. I have been following this issue in various interviews with James Tambalebi, who has been very frank in his disposition of the ongoing saga. Thanks, Mr. Leby, for being frank in exposing the ministry on their plans to replace their surrogates, even when the old man is retired. Sad, a follower from China.
For the Mustafa Toure, on our Facebook page, they say Salon is known to have all the good laws, but implementing them has been a huge challenge. There are several acts formulated by the Parliament, University, ACC, Bank of Salon, etc., but these have always been ignored by government. The appointment of Ben Kefala and Professor Kalon brought a lot of discussion. Then given the act and this university saga is another example of how politicians will never allow institutions to function.
Another message from City is say all of this is contributing to the poor standards of education in Sierra Leone. Let the president intervene to resolve this dispute because it is sad for our educational system. Let the ministry be careful not to jeopardize the future of our students.
Dauda Tarawali, na the Facebook page, they say Khadija, Professor Samai, not the step down, now in turn and if for take the position. Why make people then for take their personal problems to their working places?
All right, this other message from Obasanjo Toure is say we are calling on the president not to give a deaf ear to this issue, to this saga. It's not so good for the educational system in the country. He should use his office to resolve the matter once and for all.
Hassan Augustine Toure na Facebook, they say this is sad and unfortunate development that will not augur well for the future of our country's educational system.
All right, another message from Obasanjo Toure. It says JT has actually laid all the facts bare. It's left with the authorities to do the right thing and solve this once and for all.
Okay, well, they come quickly na YouTube. Also, we viewers themselves don't drop them, concern them. The first one I will take now from Ibrahim Ya Almami Bangura say many believe that education should be guided by educational experts rather than government ministers, emphasizing the importance of keeping politics out of educational decision. Allah help Sierra Leone. The final one I will take now from Almami Toure. Now YouTube, they say good morning. Liberty TV, with what I understand, according to the gentleman, the ministry choose someone because the university court delay to choose someone. So why the delay? That's my question. All right, from their messages, then they quickly will they come back in the studio as we still get James Tambalebi for respond to the various concerns them we don't come na the program this morning.
I think one question there, and that's not the last one. All the others, all na sentiments, and all those sentiments them I share in those sentiments. Why the delay? So we keep insisting that there was no delay because Professor Fodesa, when at the outgone professor, the head of the university, now in official title, now Vice Chancellor and Principal, he was still in office when the ministry appoints Professor Lawrence Kamara. They appoint her on the 11th, Professor Fodesa immediately on the 13th he hand over. So where is the delay? Professor Mohamed Samai could not have taken over when Professor Fodesa is still in office.
But the narrative where the ministry they put out there
is dishonest.
Void been there.
Void no day. But how there are records to the fact.
So
Professor Fodesa was in office.
Question why they ask.
Delay no day.
Why a whole ministry where gets a doctor for be dishonest and they paint out a narrative whenever it's
but look at the issue of fees. They know the strategy for let's see the lie. These fees, there was was it tripartite or there were the Ministry of Finance was involved. In fact, if you watch, you are a student of Obi College, yeah. The university late for publish fees this academic year. Do you know that? Because when the university make the proposal for fees, the ministry say we get for wait on them for let they approve. The approval come very, very, very late. They approve the fees. In fact, the Ministry of Finance is on record saying that what the University of Sierra Leone charged for the academic year should have been charged for a semester because it's small. The Ministry of Finance, a government ministry. Now then they'll put then letter say, we, the university, unilaterally put out a fees. The strategy in that letter is to incite the students against the university. The real fact is they were consulted, the Ministry of Finance was in the discussion, and now they approved the fees late before the university put them out. And now then they say they were not discussed, they were not consulted. That is how dishonest they are. It's a lie. The university congregation, yes, it should have been in December, but you know there was a looming strike by academic staff. And so we know when this problem will be solved. Secondly, we then watch the number of students that we don't meet their commitments, both financial commitments in terms of the one that we owe fees to the university and the one that we don't meet the academic commitments in terms of clearing their references. It not been up to 40%. It not been up to 30% safe. But the strike was the major factor for postponing congregation. We postponed congregation to April, not because we want whole in April, but before then, the court may not meet and approve 2 dates that if congregation not take place in December, it therefore take place in April. So it can be 2 congregation, it can be 1, but it will either December or April or December and April. Then say we for choose a date out of that. They will say no, we court when at the highest administrative decision making body. Don't decide say now this way will go. Then one of violate them and do what they want. So this is about controlling the university. The whole thing
we really need for putting more effort. It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate.
Dr. Momono will come at the studio this morning, but we go put more effort for get somebody from the Ministry of Tertiary Education, because a huge allegation the way you don't make up on them say always then they put as correspondent to the public.
It's a lie. After some are half truths, some are complete fabrication. Then a lie. Because if there was no consultation.
If a whole Ministry of Higher Education they put out correspondence to the public for updates.
Now dishonest letter than they very dishonest. Very, very dishonest letter. I can team up any side and say that the issues and way they highlight in that letter are not true. Yeah? And the issue of the only one we come closer to the truth is that the congregation was postponed. And I don't explain the reason why we postponed it. But to say that the university charge fees on its own, that is a complete blatant lie.
So as we wrap up this edition of the program,
in fact, now they approve the fees late before we come with that. College be open before the fees then come out.
So if in all of this conversation where we don't get, if we're not able to resolve this issue as soon as possible, waiting for happen next?
I really don't know. It will affect education, higher education. That is what I know. But in terms of the details, I don't know.
All right, many thanks, James Tabalebi. We come na the studio this morning as we continue for look at the issues that were they happen at the University of Salone. We will try to get the Ministry of Tertiary Education because a lot of allegation in the way it go be well for let the public understand their own perspective and then try for clear their allegation there. So continue for watch Liberty Online TV as we continue for look inside this matter and we will ensure so bring on all the body they were involved inside this issue so that we will get a clear understanding and background as to how the university they are so now they struggle with leadership issues. Many thanks, so now don't join we. Continue for follow Liberty Online TV for you accurate news and information then. But the latest thing that will happen in the country. Watch we on YouTube. Where you go on YouTube, not just watch. Make sure say you subscribe and also press the post notification bell. We go notify you anytime will come on air. And also on Facebook, not just come and watch. We support Liberty Online TV so that we will continue for grow. Now for like, share to your family, friends them so that they go know what Liberty Online TV say. Now the only online platform where they give now accurate and authentic information. Mina Khadija Bangura, they say have a good day.
Alright, and many thanks to the guests that we've been getting today, James Tambalebi from the University of Sierra Leone, and also many thanks to Lawrence Williams, we've been joining me live online. And many thanks to the production team. Until we meet again, Bebel Kabadi say goodbye.